Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us today. Today, we are going to have a very special podcast because we have very special guest in our studio. Basically, we are talking about differently able people. If I share some statistics with you, especially because these statistics are really very important. As far as Pakistan is concerned, I would like to share that 12 to 15% of the population of Pakistan is differently able. It includes physical, visual, hearing, and cognitive limitations. And as you all know, that people living in the rural areas, because they have very limited access to the facilities, they have some disparities, obviously. They have limited access to the education and healthcare. The ratio at different rural areas is really very high. If I can share some more statistics globally, basically 2.5% of the total Pakistan's population, if you talk about a global stage, is visually impaired, if you can say not completely blind. So we have a big community and we need to work for them. So that's why this special podcast is basically, we'll be talking about those people who are differently able, especially the visual impaired people. And we have two very special guests in our studio. They are delivering a very impactful training at Virtual University of Pakistan. We'll be talking about their trainings. We'll be talking about the community that needs the societal attention. And definitely we'll talking about some, policy matters. So first of all, I would like to thank you for joining us today. Let me introduce my guest. So I'm glad to have Dr. Christian with us. He is leading expert in digital accessibility and assistive technologies with a PhD in computer science. He's consultant for Italian government for digitalization efforts. And he is also the trainer and instructional designer at ST Foundation, which have some specialized courses for visually impaired individuals. Secondly, we have Sadakin with us. Actually, he is from Senegal, and he is also passionate about advocating the technology and education for visually impaired individuals in Senegal. And if I look at his profile, it is very inspiring. And I'm so glad to introduce both of you to our audience. Christine, starting from you, basically, I want you to introduce yourself, about your background, about your motivation, being the part of such impactful programs in Italian government.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for your invitation. It's a pleasure for me to introduce myself. My background is in computer science. I studied computer science in Italy. I took my degree in computer science and then a PhD in computer science. And since then, I've started to work in this field, especially in the research field. I am blind, so I studied as a blind person using non-visual tools since birth, since I was a child. So I used non-visual technologies, and step by step, I could succeed in my studies. The evolution of technologies has actually opened up new opportunities for me, even thanks to cooperation with other persons, with other sighted persons. I mean teachers, I mean my schoolmates and my friends, my parents, and all other persons in the society around me. So thanks to this cooperation and thanks to the technology, I could go through studies and take my degree and my PhD. During my studies, I had to overcome many different challenges, but these challenges motivated me to go on in computers, in learning how to manage computers and how to go through computer studies. This motivated me also to understand how technologies could be enhanced for people who have different abilities, and so I started to work in the field of assistive technologies. So my personal experience together with the evolution of technology and studying this evolution and participating to this evolution motivates me very much in widespreading knowledge about this kind of technologies that may open up totally new opportunities for many different people.
Thank you, Christian. And what about you, Sada?
Thank you for the invitation. So I'm very glad to be here in Pakistan, especially also to do this podcast. For my background, I studied many things in university: economics, mathematics, informatics, sociology, laws. But definitely, I see the world is going to change in few years with IT. So I do especially my specialization on IT and have my master degree in Senegal. And I also do many things in health and development, but for the people who are very poor, because the people who are in the society who are not like have some trouble living, something like this, some things that touch me. So that's the main point that lead me to be part of the visually impaired training around the world to impact more people.
That's wonderful. Okay, Christian, when we were talking about some limitations or some, kind of, I don't want to use that rude word, disability, but differently able. So we'll be talking about the visual or the hearing or the physical, limitations. If you can explain the cognitive limitation, because the way you were explaining that is very important for our audience to understand that what is meant by cognitive limitation as well.
Yes, well, there are many different cognitive limitations, and it means that the way the intellectual, the mind can understand or can process everything is different. It doesn't mean that these persons can't do something, but they have to process differently and have to find different approaches to learning, to knowledge, and to communication.
Okay, that's perfectly all right. Okay, coming back to the program, because you both are giving a training at Virtual University of Pakistan, and the training is Introduction to Computer Basics for Visually Impaired Individuals. So if you can tell our audience about this training program, and my personal question is basically, what really inspired you to design this program?
Well, together with ST Foundation some years ago, we started to design a program to introduce computer basics to persons who are blind or have some kind of low vision, because we wanted to give some introduction to these technologies that can be affordable for everyone, including those who can see or can partially see. We started to prepare, to design this course based on different experiences, based on different learning activities. And in the end, we started to deploy the course in different countries. The inspiration came when we started to work together with ST Foundation. It was a way to widespread knowledge about emerging assistive technologies for everyone.
That's perfectly all right. Coming to you, Sada, basically, I want you to add more. Like, I need to know, because this is so new in Pakistan, that how you guys are delivering this training to the different people, because I guess you are preparing the master trainers, am I right?
Yeah, all right.
Okay, so can you tell us about the structure and how you guys are preparing those master trainer? Because I guess it's a very impactful training. So I want to have your say on it.
Okay, so for the training, we are going to train 20 trainers who will be in every part of Pakistan, and will train the citizens. So the training is going in the morning with the trainers. In the afternoon, we have also class of 20 trainees, and they will practice, because it is something very practical. If the trainer manage to do it well, because it is for the person who live with disability. They need it very, very, this program is very important for them, because it open the world to them. So the people must be trained very specifically, and they must know exactly what they are doing. So in the afternoon, they practice and they teach to the trainees. And for just some information, we are using the same computer like sighted one. It is the same computer.
Perfectly all right. Like that is the beauty of inclusivity, that they both are working with each other, they both are supporting each other. Coming to you, Christian, I need to know your experience about this training, because we all understand that this is a very high impactful training for the community of visually impaired.
Well, my personal experience with this training is a very positive one. In my opinion, this training involved both wonderful staff at the university, because the staff is really committed to prepare everything needed for the training, to create, to set up a very well working laboratory, because this is very important to have the lab correctly set up with the right software, with the right chairs, with the right position of the computers. And so this is very supportive. We found a very supportive staff, and our trainers are very interested. They wished to learn more and more about the activities we were proposing, we are teaching, and this means that they really wish to succeed in achieving with the computers and in achieving as trainers, and to become very well-skilled trainers themselves. And so, in my opinion, this experience is really successful with this training.
Can you explain the difference between blindness and visually impaired, or is it the same thing?
No, it's not the same thing. Yes, when we speak about blindness, we are considering those people who can't see at all, or who can see a little bit, but with this residual sight, they cannot do anything. That it's this residual sight is really useless to do any action based on sight. Instead, when we speak about visually impaired person, we are considering those who have a residual sight, so who can see lower than sighted persons, but with this residual sight, they can do some actions based on the vision. So, for example, they can see on a screen letters, characters, but only if they are magnified or displayed in high contrast. Or, for example, they can walk along a path, they can follow a road. Maybe they are not able to see what they have in front of them exactly, but can say, okay, there is something, I have to pay attention and find my way and orientate myself. And so they can use the residual sight for doing daily activities.
Okay, that's perfectly all right, because these questions are, Christian, really very important, because as layperson, we are not very well familiar with all these, difficulties. So if we really wanted to make them active, if we really wanted to make them a valuable person in our society, we need to first of all understand the different definitions so that we can really work for them and make them very effective for our society. One more question, again related with this specific training program at Virtual University. I need to know that you guys have structured this training program. How does it align with the global initiative, especially related with the education and inclusivity?
Yeah, right. So this program is perfectly aligned with the United Nations Act for the Rights of People with Disabilities. Actually, everything that is present in this act is pursued also through this training, especially concerning education. This training is, as Sada mentioned, is based on an inclusive approach. So both sighted and partially sighted and blind people study in the same class. They communicate, communication between persons who are sighted and those who are visually impaired or blind is a crucial point to learn and to exchange knowledge and to understand how different people work, how different people learn in the same context. And so inclusion, this course is actually driven by inclusion. The keyword of this course is inclusion, and inclusion is what this United Nations Act is promoting for persons with disabilities. So many activities addressing the needs of persons with different abilities around the world are going towards inclusion.
My question to you is that if you can unlist those challenges that visually impaired people face in their daily course of life.
Yes, in daily course, especially in education, challenges are first of all how to operate with visual information on the screen. The problem is not concerned with typing. They can learn how to type. We train them how to type, but the problem is to manage visual information. So they have to learn to use their effective technologies, speech-enabled technologies, to operate with visual elements on the screen. But it's not easy to get a mental picture of what comes on the screen. So this is a challenge. And another challenge is to communicate properly with sighted persons, because sighted persons use computers in a lab according to a different interaction model. They use mouse instead. Persons with low vision or blindness use basically the keyboard, and so operations are done differently. Sighted persons, for example, mention things according to their position on the screen. Instead, persons who are blind or have low vision basically try to find a relation among elements on the screen, just a logical one, just not based on their position. So these are some of the challenges they have to face in this kind of course.
Okay. Sada, because Christian talked about the elements, okay, at Virtual University of Pakistan, we have created a virtual learning environment for our students. And now I can understand that how difficult it is for a visually impaired person to study at Virtual University of Pakistan. So I want you to add more challenges related to their, related to the education, basically, that how they can make themselves able to learn in virtual learning environment if they are visually impaired.
There are some parts related to the web browsing and using the computer, like the browser, to send mails. It is something like this. I think when people are not trained, because for the visually impaired, you can touch like, let's see, a computer. Just to touch a computer, you need a method. And when you go through this course, after the end of this course, you'll be able to use properly the keyboard. You can use your Word documents to write, to read. You can use the Microsoft Excel. You can go browsing, go to the internet, read the news, find something else, fill information.
You guys are basically, if I can understand, you are the enablers, basically. You have enabling visually impaired people to learn in a virtual learning environment. Am I right?
All right. That's
okay, perfectly.
Yeah.
All right.
Because in the virtual environment, he deals more about all the things together. Because the first is the browser, because he's going with internet to know how to connect and how to put his credential to access, how to go through the courses. It is things he can do after like the kind of training.
Okay. So now coming back to the real topic, which is about the technology, because we have to leverage the technology, obviously, to make them, at least able to use these virtual learning environments. So I need to know about the different technologies, the softwares, or any other digital support that is available for the visually impaired people.
Okay, so for the visually impaired people, the computer they use is the same as the computer we use also as sighted one. It is a desktop or a laptop.
Okay.
The keyboard also is the one.
Okay,
It
is
not
it the same
the
one?
same keyboard
Okay.
like the sighted one use. And it is the material part. And also they will need headset. They don't need a screen.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps the screen is for the sighted one to check.
Okay.
But visually impaired don't need screen and mouse because it's visual material. And they will need for being able like to use the computer, it is just this.
So they'll operate the keyboard only.
They operate the keyboard only and with the headset to hear.
Okay, so they'll hear the sound?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and they are doing
all
the same. They use especially two sense, the sense of touch and sense of
hearing.
Yeah, hearing.
Okay, that's perfectly all right. Can you name a few softwares or any other, technology that is available so far so that our audience can learn or they can use?
Okay, there are some software called screen reader. So the screen reader is literally describing what is in the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you sound of what you are doing. And the screen reader, we have JAWS, we have something else like another. But the one we use is NVDA screen reader because it's free, it's open source. So when you want to teach it for the people who is visually impaired, sometimes who live in the local areas and some place where people don't have enough money to buy some professional live JAWS, something like this. So we use NVDA screen, who is like free. And the software have a community around the world who can develop an add-ons to be able to like add more things for helping visually impaired around the world. It is a screen reader. You can read what is in the screen. You can also interact with some comments to do certain things, specific things. And like when you are reading the document, you can do some specific things with the screen reader and combining it with the keyboard.
So coming back to you, Christian, I need to know that because you talk about the training here at Virtue University, I need to know that after this training, what are the different opportunities or different skill sets available for visually impaired people, how they can, upgrade themselves?
Well, there are a number of opportunities after this course. First of all, in their education, in their studies, using this kind of technologies, they can really access a lot of different study fields, including, as mentioned, for also scientific and technological field, studies. And on the long run, they can also get different jobs, not only those concerned with technology, but those that are based on technology. And in this world that is driven by technology, there are so many different jobs that can be done by persons who are blind or who have low vision today. So having full access, or at least a high level access to computers and to different digital technologies really opens up a number of opportunities, even in the job market.
We have talked about that. What are the different opportunities available for visually impaired people? Like we were talking about what they should do. Now the turn is, we need to talk about the society. We need to talk about those people who have the sight. What is our responsibility as a society to support them? What is your vision about it?
So I have just a very general consideration. Society should consider persons who have different needs not as persons to help, but as persons to share with, to share lives with exactly as other persons. They do not need to be only to be assisted, only to be helped. They have some different needs, but this does not mean that they have to be assisted for everything. So society can change step by step the view of persons who have different needs, and understand that they can be also completely integrated in the society as any other person is or can be. And this is just a general approach. On the other hand, I think that the society, when starts to see persons who are blind, who walk around by themselves, who teach, who work, who get a job, who study with others, just according to an inclusive paradigm, an inclusive model, the society will never think anymore that persons are not able to do something. They are not persons who are not able, but they are persons who do things differently. So in my opinion, the society has not to do something special, but basically has to think that persons have different abilities, need only some opportunities to do something, and the society can help in providing the necessary tools that may be technologies, that may be courses, but not only assistance.
Coming to you, Sada, because you were talking about the different community. So can you tell us if there is any community out there globally or at Senegal, anywhere, where these visually impaired people are, communicating with each other, they are making them some networks or anything else?
In Senegal, the visually impaired, they they know each other, because we have some type of associations there.
So do you think that such networks or such communities are really very important? And they are basically the platforms that can make a real difference in the society, because society need to learn a lot of things. As I was telling you that there are a lot of definitions I'm not aware of. And today when I'm talking to you, I'm learning a lot of things. And I'm assuming that there are a lot many things that we need to learn as a society. So in your opinion, do you really think that these communities are really very important in spreading the awareness?
Yeah, for the awareness, I also have something to add. For me, when we have a problem, when human being, like society, to use this word, need to change the way they view certain type of disabilities, we can talk about it. It is the first step. But the things most important is for the people themselves to do the necessary thing to be able to be an example, real example, like professor, who is a professor of university and he is visually impaired. So when people see this, it is faster to consider. It
It's
is
more
not
relatable for them,
related with
basically. Yeah,
reality.
that's
So
true.
it is what we are going to do. What we aren't going to do is to change the way society views the visually impaired. Have to go and to have touch with knowledge, and when they have the these skills, they start to work, and people will see them. They are working, and now society, the young person who will be and like baby and grow and see them, it will be normal. For me, it is something very important to
It is
change
more
things.
relatable for them, and they can meet people which they aspire for. Before concluding the podcast, Chris and I need to know that what is your vision about creating an awareness about such initiatives and creating an awareness about the significance of these visually impaired people in the society?
So awareness is essential, but it's something that comes in practice, in my opinion. So it's not important to claim to speak about the disability, to speak about opportunities, as sometimes happens in many different conferences at very theoretical level. But in my opinion, awareness can really grow through communication, through real life experiences, and through real practical actions, as those taken here at this university, at the virtual university. There was an opportunity to train persons who are blind or have low vision. So we have not to do many theoretical activities. We simply organize something, and we organize this in an inclusive, with an inclusive approach, and then we show that it works. There will be some drawbacks, some problems. Of course, there will be, and step by step, there will come the ways to solve them together. So thanks to the real power of digital communication, thanks to social networks, thanks to online platforms, there are so many ways to reach people and to inform them, not just through some really theoretical goals or unreachable goals, but through life experiences. So in my opinion, on the long run, when the goal to have real awareness about inclusion is to stop debating about inclusion. So inclusion becomes a lifestyle.
We need to normalize,
totally normalize.
Such things. That's
it's a lifestyle of everyone.
That's true, and I'm very glad that we are recording the podcast, and we are playing our due role in spreading the awareness about this inclusivity that need to be normalized, basically.
Absolutely.
So before concluding today's podcast, Christian, I would like to have your words or your message for policymakers, for educators, for individuals like us who need to be very sensitive towards such kind of communities, especially the PWDs, and any special message for your own community.
So the message, especially to educators, to policymakers, is do not, first of all, do not exempt persons who are blind or have low vision from doing different school activities. Do not think they can't do, but try. Give them a chance to do different activities at school, whatever they are. I mean, science, mathematics, gym, literature, and whatever, music, and so on. So people who have no vision or low vision can do really most all of the activities that are presented at school, almost all of them. So another point is, especially to policymakers, I would say do not hesitate to implement the inclusive policy, because this is a really good and winning investment for the future of the society. It's not something done for people who have different abilities. It's something done for the society in its whole. So it's something from which both persons who have different abilities and the rest of the society will get a lot of advantages in the close future.
Like like the way you were giving the message, it recalls me the concept of value co-creation, where all different actors are sharing their resources, their knowledge to co-create value for the society at large. Sada, what is your message for educators, for policymakers, for individuals?
Okay, so for the way to see the visually impaired and other disability is this: when you live older, you are going to face the problem of sight. So when you are doing something like a sighted one or someone who lived with the disabilities, you can exclude yourself because if you see, like from the other disabilities, let's see, if one can't walk, it can happen at any time to anyone.
That's so true.
So we need to know the disabilities, it is something that can happen to everybody. So when you are doing it, you are doing it for yourself. It's like when, let me see, you have like a very good thing you are doing for older people. And you are going to be old if you live. It's a way to consider yourself that one day you can have one of these, because the visually impaired is not, it's a vast majority of people who live face it. So before you be able to face it at around, let's see, 60 or a little bit more, try to work on it. And the day when you face it, it will be normal.
So it means actually it's not working for them,
But
it's
working for
working for
yourself.
ourselves.
So you can't
Yeah,
exclude
that's
yourself,
so true. That's
because
so true.
it is just about things of now you are seeing, but you don't know tomorrow.
So Christian, thank you very much for joining us. And Sada, again, thank you to you. I learned a lot from both of you. And I would like to conclude with 2 to 3 points. First of all, we as an individual, we need to learn that the PWDs community is differently able. The second most important thing is that they are playing their due role. We need to play our due role now, and our role is to normalize the inclusivity. It's not a very different concept, and we need not to look at different things with different lenses. It's all about working with each other, living with each other, learning with each other, and supporting each other. Thank you very much for joining us today.